Hello everybody, MorbTron here. Today starts our look into the Warlock subclass trees. Starting off with Dawnblade. Now, what I will say before we get into any of that, obviously Warlock is not my main. I do have quite a few hours into my Warlock, but I do not have all the exotics. I'm missing one. Doesn't affect this video though. But if I do happen to miss anything, miss any tips or tricks, put them in the comment section down below, and I will include them in the overview video that I do after I cover all of the Warlock subclasses. But I don't think I'll miss anything, because like I said, I have spent a fair amount of hours on every subclass tree in this game. But, starting off with my favorite Warlock subclass, Dawnblade. I'm going to cover exotics first. Now, one thing I am going to change over my Titan videos, any just in general really good exotics that don't directly affect the subclass that I'm reviewing or giving a guide for, I'm going to save for the overview video. Unless the exotic has a profound effect on whatever subclass tree I'm covering, then I will mention them. But if it's just an exotic that just does something really, really good for the Warlock class overall, and it doesn't directly affect the subclass I'm reviewing, like I said, saving that for the overview video. But let's look at the exotics that directly affect the Dawnblade Warlock overall. First up, we have the Sunbracers. The Sunbracers affect solar grenades. They give you unlimited solar grenade energy after you get a melee kill with your ability. Now, when it says solar grenade, it doesn't mean all solar grenades, just one. The one that's actually called solar grenade. So you can whip around as many solar grenades as you can in that short amount of time. You would think that this would be really, really powerful for boss damage, but it is not. Unfortunately, the way the game works, the way that the code is written, if you throw one grenade on an enemy, like let's say a boss, just for example's sake, you throw one grenade on a boss, and then you throw 5 grenades at the same boss, they will still only take damage from one of those solar grenades. It's the way the game is written. Unfortunately, that's just the way it goes, so it kind of takes a lot of the potential away from this exotic. You can still get a melee kill and throw, 7 or 8 grenades throughout an entire room and just have an entire room be on fire, so that way if any adds are in it, they're gonna die. That's cool. Or if you're in the Crucible, you get a melee kill, you can throw grenades every which way you want to, and hopefully people walk into them. But you're not going to get the epic boss melting damage that you should. If you have, let's say if you have, 20 grenades on, because you have a ton of Warlocks in your group, and you all throw a ton of solar grenades on it, that boss should go away very quickly. But unfortunately, it just doesn't work out that way. That's why this exotic kind of sucks. Now, other exotics, I don't know why I left that. Let's see here, let's go back in. Warlock, we have Wings of Sacred Dawn. So while in your Dawnblade, if you aim down sights while in the air, the brakes immediately get pumped. You stop mid-air where you're at. You are there now. You live mid-air. You're aiming down sights. Sounds good, right? Because the enemy's not going to expect you to just, bam, be in the mid-air, firing at them. What's bad about it is that you're in the air. You're not in cover. Your whole body's exposed. And even though you might have better mid-air accuracy with this thing, you might have Icarus mods on your weapons, you're still going to get shot down very, very quickly. You're completely exposed. You might catch an enemy off guard once or twice, but as soon as they catch onto this thing, you are minced meat. All of the time. Guaranteed. You'll see people using this exotic a couple times in the Crucible. Rarely do they ever use it, though. Another exotic that directly affects Dawnblade is Starfire Protocol. This is another grenade-modifying exotic. It gives you an extra fusion grenade charge. Now, fusion grenades were really powerful in Destiny 1, and Starfire Protocol was a Destiny 1 exotic, so Starfire Protocol in Destiny 1 was fantastic. Because in Destiny 1, fusion grenades were a one-shot kill, and the tracking for the sticky grenades, like the fusion, was really, really high. So if you threw a grenade into the next zip code, chances are you would hit somebody, and they would explode. It's not the case in Destiny 2, unfortunately. Fusion grenades only hit for around 150 damage total in the Crucible, which is not a kill unless they're weak, or, at 150 health. And the other thing, how fusion grenade kills grant rift energy, not that important either. Rifts, you get them back so quickly anyway, even without any mods. Not really worth it. These are kind of bad. Now, what I will mention is a neutral exotic, but is the exotic that I use almost exclusively when I'm bottom Tree Dawnblade, which is what I use in the Crucible, is the Transversive Steps. The reason for that is because it increases sprint speed. Now, with Dawnblade specifically, in their super, they can go very, very fast. Extremely fast, to the point where if you hit a wall in your super, flying as fast as you can, you will die. Your Guardian will commit scooter ankle. So, making you go faster, having that higher potential top speed, is fun. That's why I use them. Having the reload when you're sprinting is fun as well, but mostly for the increased speed. Because speed brings violence, and violence is momentum. In the Crucible. Sorry, that was cheesy. Anyway, on to describing the thing, and my phone just beeped. Why? Phone, do you do these things? Anyway, the grenades. If you're in PvE, you're going to be using Solar Grenade. If you're in Gambit, you're going to be using Solar Grenade. Why? Because Firebolt grenades and Fusion grenades are terrible against PvE enemies. They just don't do nearly as much damage as a Solar Grenade can. Fusion grenades, yeah, they stick to their target. Yeah, they explode. They don't do a lot of damage, though. They're somewhat useful in the Crucible, maybe. But here's the thing even about Fusion grenades. If somebody is hurt enough to be taken down from your Fusion grenade landing on their face, they would have more than likely died from you hitting them with a Solar Grenade as well. Because not only are they going to take the impact damage from the grenade, but they're then going to have to run out of that grenade's area of effect. By the time they get out of that grenade's area of effect, if they are weak enough to get killed by a fusion grenade, chances are, with the initial hit from this grenade, and the AoE from standing in the grenade's area of effect, and then the ticking damage they'll take out of it, they're probably going to get taken out anyway. And if not, they're one shot. They're done for. Firebolt grenades do actually have a strategic point to use them in the Crucible. If you hurt somebody and they run around a corner, they're hiding behind a box, or hiding behind a piece of cover, Firebolt grenades can hit them. You just throw them over them, or throw them right next to the cover, whatever, as long as they're within the Firebolt's line of sight, and they're within its range, which is quite generous, they're going to take grenade damage. So it's a good way to finish people off if they try to run around a corner, or hide behind some cover when they're weak. Is good times. And it can hit multiple people. So that's good too. Now, moving into the actual subclass. I'm not really going to mention too many of the jumps. I use Burst Glide. It's by far the best jump for Dawnblade. It's what I use on every Warlock subclass, actually. The other two, they're just not good. Burst Glide gives you a strong initial burst of speed. The others don't. And what does this game need? You need to go fast. You want to go fast. We all want to be little Sonic the Hedgehogs running around in the Crucible, just firing as many shotgun rounds as we can, or flying around with flaming swords, or whatever. Just, we want to go fast. Burst Glide is where it's at. Balance Glide is a combination of Strafe and Burst. Not worth it. Strafe Glide gives you strong directional control. It's not worth it. Just Burst Glide. Just Burst Glide. The rifts are the same for every Warlock. We have a healing and we have empowering. You stand in the healing rift, you get healed. Weird. You stand in the empowering rift, your weapons are empowered. They do more damage. Weird. Self-explanatory. Moving on to the bottom tree, the Attunement of Flame, the most common Dawnblade Warlock out there. The melee is called Igniting Touch. Striking an enemy with a melee burns them. So they take initial damage and then they burn. And if that burn kills them, they explode. It's very neat. Very cool. Very explosion. And we have the modifier for the Dawnblade Super called Fated for the Flame, where the Daybreak projectiles, which are the flaming things that you throw off of your sword and your super, they seek their targets fairly aggressively, and upon impact, so as soon as they hit the ground or their target or a wall or whatever, they launch a streak of fire in the direction that you threw them from. So, that's cool. Just fire everywhere. Give everybody a flaming sword. Then we have Everlasting Fire, so killing an enemy with Daybreak extends its duration. In PvE, if you have enough red bar enemies to take down, you can literally be in super indefinitely. It's the greatest thing ever. If there's a platoon of dregs in front of you, pop your Daybreak, you're not going to regret it. It's going to be fun. You're going to generate all the orbs. In Crucible, it's important to note that as soon as you pop your Dawnblade, it is not necessary for you to start throwing swords immediately. You can run around and wait until you can have at least a very good chance at hitting someone. You don't have to waste your entire super. I would recommend actually trying to take advantage of Everlasting Fire. You know, get some kills, extend your super. Don't just throw swords. I see so many blueberries pop Dawnblade and just instantaneously start whipping flaming swords everywhere, and then they're out of super immediately. And it was super awkward. Nobody had a good time. And then we have Phoenix Dive. You rarely see people use this. It's incredibly powerful, and I wish I remembered to use it more often. Activate while midair to descend very quickly and restore your health. It is important to note that if your Guardian is 2.5 inches off the ground when you use Daybreak, you're not going to regen much health. But if you're a pretty decent high up, or very high up, depending on how far you want to jump down, you will regenerate quite a bit of health. And if you're in your super and you use Phoenix Dive, not only will you heal, but you'll also cause an explosion when you hit the ground. Pretty cool. But now I'm going to show you exactly how fast you get moving with Dawnblade bottom tree. Alright, so we got our super. We're going to pop it. And, I mean, just look at the speed that we can get. It's ridiculous. Why even use a sparrow? Oh, let's kill that dude and extend our super. We missed that guy. Let's kill that guy and extend our super. Let's kill this guy and extend our super. And how about that guy there? It's ridiculous. If I was actually trying to use my super there and wanted to wipe out like an entire lost sector, very, very easy. And now I should probably take some damage and show off Phoenix Dive, huh? Come here, shield dude. Give me a good old whack. Whack me again. Come on, give me this. Oh no, that was too much. You whacked me too hard, Turian. You need to be more gentle. Warlocks are delicate creatures. Alright. You do some damage to me. Come on. Hurt me a little bit. Hurt me good. Come on. Come on. Come on. Okay, there we go. And Phoenix Dive. You can see there, we regen some health. It wasn't the best because it wasn't that high off the ground, but you get the picture. It's a way to regen some health without actually having to use your healing rift, so you can save that. But yeah, on to the next subclass tree. Alright, now we're looking at top tree, Attunement of Sky. This is what I like to call a finesse version of Dawnblade, meaning there's a lot of like little things you can do, little quirks that the top tree has that can really help you outplay people. Whether it's the AI in PvE or in the Crucible fighting against some blueberry, you can really bamboozle them with a couple things that Attunement of Sky can do. The melee kind of does the same thing as bottom tree, except there's no explosion if you die from the burn. Instead, it increases your movement speed and your reload speed, and on top of that, boosts your airborne weapon accuracy. Airborne weapon accuracy, or in-air accuracy, is super, super fun. Being able to jump up in the air, be unpredictable, not always have boots on the ground, and still being able to be accurate with your weapon is something that I personally really, really enjoy in the game, and I'm sure there's others out there that feel the same way. Another thing that Attunement of Sky has, airborne kills recharge your grenade and melee energy. Casting Daybreak instantly refills your ability energy. So before you cast your super in top tree, you might as well whip your grenade out there, see if you can get, a couple kills that A kill, block off a doorway, what have you, whatever. You're going to get your grenade back instantly anyway, might as well use it. Winged Sun. Engage your enemy mid-flight. fire weapons, and throw grenades while gliding. What that means is usually if you aim down, even if you just aim down sights while you're using your jump ability, you usually lose your jump and you fall to the ground. In Attunement of Sky, you can aim down sights and shoot even, and throw grenades and not lose your jump. You don't lose your momentum, you don't lose your jump at all. Your jump doesn't go away. And what's nice about that is we have here, pairs up with He Rises. Airborne kills recharge your grenade melee energy. So not only is that a thing, but using your weapons mid-air is more effective. It's fantastic. The one cautionary thing I do have to say about that is Warlock jump arc, meaning the path you take in the air while you're jumping, is incredibly predictable and quite slow towards the end of the arc. Very predictable, very easy for people to take you down during that. So I would say use it, but be careful how you use it, because if you overuse it and people catch on, you're going to be an easy target for them to take down. But we have this other thing that can help with that called Icarus Dash. So like bottom tree had Phoenix Dive, top tree has Icarus Dash, if I could words today. Activate while midair to dodge. And what this can do is if you are midair, hit X. If you just hit X without putting any other directional control into it, you go backwards. It does have a little bit of a cooldown, like 4 seconds. Let's say I'm going forward and hit it, you boost forward. And if I want to go to the side, still on cooldown, there we go. And now I went to the left. Or now, I'll go to the right. Pretty interesting. It's a way to really, get yourself out of harm's way. Another thing is that you notice it brings you third person when you do that. So you can kind of see around corners, that sort of thing in the Crucible can help you get more information to your teammates without putting yourself in harm's way. But there's a wanted dude there. The actual super itself isn't really changed. There's no modifiers to the super itself. You can use Icarus Dash continuously while you're in your super, but it does take super energy to do that. So just keep that in mind. It's a neat trick, being able to just spam Icarus Dash in your super. It's a way to kind of bamboozle your enemies. And just Icarus Dash in general is a good way to bamboozle people. But moving on to Middle Tree. Alright, now Middle Tree, or Attunement of Grace, is a complete 180 on basically everything that's ever been in Destiny ever. Every super, really, besides the Titan Bubble, has been an incredibly offensive super. Attunement of Grace is an incredibly supportive subclass tree. Truly the first support role that we've had in the game. What it does is it changes your super from being an ability where you throw flaming swords and you go flying through the air really fast, to a super where you put down basically a super rift. It's a combination between a healing rift and an empowering rift. You plop your sword into the ground, and the radius that it has is very, very large, and while you're standing in there, it heals you very, very quickly, and if you're at full health, it gives you a massive overshield, and it empowers your weapons. And this is for you, your allies, anybody in your fire team standing in your your Well of Radiance is going to have all of those benefits. Very cool. The one thing that I will say is that the sword in the middle that generates this Well of Radiance can be destroyed. Not really a problem in PvE, but in Gambit, invaders can destroy it, and in Crucible, it can be destroyed as well, which will end your super prematurely. Just something to keep in mind. Also, if you are in a raid, know that you can get line of sighted by the sword, meaning that if you're trying to, say, cheese Riven, you're all shooting a bunch of rocket launchers at Riven, trying to hit her in her big old mouth, and you're standing in a Well of Radiance, you can hit the sword with one of those rockets if you're not being careful and kill yourself. I've seen it happen. It's not pretty. It's messy, actually. The melee ability for Well of Radiance is called Guiding Flame. Strike an enemy. they'd take burn damage. Same as all the other ones so far. But now you are empowered, and so are your allies, meaning you're going to do more damage. So your weapons, your grenades, your everything, you just do more damage overall. So does everyone else around you. And the buff lasts for quite a long time. Pretty neat. So not only can you get more damage done, and more damage output by standing your Well of Radiance, if you also melee an enemy, while in your Well of Radiance, you're going to have those buffs stack. There's a lot of buff stacking that can happen with Attunement of Grace. It's good times. And then we have Divine Protection. You can convert your grenade by holding your grenade button on PC to Q, and it converts your grenade from a grenade to a orb that heals your targets, heals your allies if they run through it or if you throw it at them, and it gives them an overshield. Does the same thing for you as well, and if you hold Q or your grenade button while you're in midair, it stops you midair so you can throw a grenade anywhere you want to, just have more control over it. It doesn't throw like a grenade, you kind of just like, it still has the same throw distance, but it looks more graceful. So there's a different animation to it. And then we have Benevolent Dawn. Healing or empowering allies regenerates your grenade, melee, and rift energy. So the more people you have standing in your rifts, the more people that you empower with your melee, the more people that you have healed with your Divine Protection grenade, you're going to get all that ability energy back. It's really, really powerful, actually. If you have, I think, 2 or more people standing in one of your rifts, you can have a rift up indefinitely, just all the time. Especially when you throwing down a healing grenade and throwing a melee in. You can have these abilities rotating just constantly. Now, onto exotics that buff Middle Tree, like I said earlier. The one I'm going to mention straight out the gate is Phoenix Protocol, designed specifically for Well of Radiance. Kills and assists you make while standing in your Well of Radiance return super energy. Now, if you're just standing in your well by yourself and you kill a bunch of ads constantly, you will come very close to having your super back immediately. But throw in a couple allies standing in your Well of Radiance in a raid, taking down ads, bigger enemies, things of that nature, you are going to get your super back 100% of the time. And even though it says kills and assists, if somebody is standing in your Well of Radiance and they kill an enemy, even if you didn't even look at that enemy, you still got an assist because you were buffing them with your super. Very good exotic. Especially for just derping around, night falls, you want to keep your Well of Radiance up. Here you go, you can have it, folks. Have it all day. Another thing that can be fun to use in the Crucible, I've done it, you can use Starfire Protocol. And even though it gives you additional fusion grenade charge, if you do have your fusion grenades equipped, you basically have 2 healing grenades you can throw around at people. And the more people you hit with your healing grenades, the more grenade energy you get back. So you can kind of be this like super healer in the Crucible, or wherever you want to use the Starfire Protocol. Just make sure you have fusion grenades equipped, and you can have just all the healing grenades ever. But we also have, of course, the Lunafaction boots, which what they do is if you're standing in a rift, if you shoot, your weapon will automatically reload if you have the ammo for it to do so. This also works for Well of Radiance. So, the fact that it works with Well of Radiance makes it incredibly powerful to use in raid situations where you're, say, using like a heavy machine gun or a rocket launcher, something that takes a long time to reload. This does bug out the sniper rifle Whisper of the Worm, so would not be recommended for that, because it won't allow whispered, well, Black Nail. I mean, that's what the perk is. Won't allow Black Nail to work, and you'll end up consuming the ammo rather than just automatically regenning the ammo with Black Nail. But like shotgun spamming down a boss in a raid, or using the rocket cheese on Riven, Lunification boots are required in a Well of Radiance to do that, for that reason. But we're going to take Phoenix Protocol, and we're going to see what we can do to these red bar enemies here. We're going to empower ourselves, and then we're going to plop our rift down Let's use some Telesto action. Let's just make this easy on us, huh? I just hit my own sword you saw there. Now you can see here, I got most of my super back just in a lost sector. And if I can kill this dude, there we go. I actually did get most of it back. And picking up an orb that I generated with the Telesto, because it's masterwork, will give me my super back. There we go. So pretty much 100% uptime just by constantly killing ads while in my super. And I was just hip firing with Telesto. Granted, Telesto is besto, so it got the job done. There we have it, folks. If I missed anything, if I missed any tips and or tricks with the Dawnblade subclass for the Warlock, let me know in the comment section down below, and I will make sure to cover them in my overview video for the Warlock when I'm done reviewing the other subclass trees. If you found this video informative or entertaining, a positive rating is greatly appreciated by hitting that like button. If you're new here, you want to see more of my content, hit that subscribe button. Be covering Destiny 2, Anthem, possibly Division 2 if Anthem doesn't pan out. We'll see. But, that being said, do not forget to have a good day, everybody, and I will catch you all next time.